Cedar Point has been my favorite park for 2 decades now, and it's the ultimate destination for American coaster enthusiasts. A day at Cedar Point just feels different than a day at any other park that I've been to. But there is one other park out there that comes close to Cedar Point in quantity and quality, and they do a lot of other things in a way that's a step above everyone else. After my trip in September 2020, I hereby declare that I have a new favorite park, and today I'm going to explain why. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kings Island. Kings Island is in Mason, Ohio, and it's under its fourth owner, this being Cedar Fair. And since that acquisition in 2006, the park has been taken to the next level. It features 14 coasters, which is among the most in the country, and it has plenty of room to expand. I have been here 4 times now, 2002, 2016, 2018, and 2020. I didn't like the park back in 2002 when it was run by Paramount Parks, but my last 3 trips have been outstanding, each one better than the one before. The one negative thing that I have to say about this park may leave a bad first impression: the park entrance. It's big, tall, ugly, and it's in a desperate need of renovation like Cedar Point and Carowinds already got. I heard something about that building being a restaurant that they don't want to remove, but I'm just saying it's not pretty. Once you get past that main entrance, you're met with a completely different sight: International Street. This is a spectacular stretch, with a fountain in the middle and the Eiffel Tower sitting at the end, with shops on either side of the fountain. It also gives you a great photo op in front of the Kings Island sign, with the tower in the back. This is a Cedar Fair park, so the theming is what it is. But their last 3 coaster editions have had a really strong theme. Banshee, Mystic Timbers, and Orion all tell a story and stick to it. The Mystic Timbers shed is something that you don't normally see at a park like this. I know a lot of people were disappointed in the creatures attacking you through a screen, but the fact that this even exists as the brake run is amazing. But who cares about theming? Let's talk about the coasters themselves. Kings Island boasts some of the best coasters of their kind, at least in my opinion. The best hypercoaster? Diamondback. The best GCI? Mystic Timbers. The best suspended coaster? The Bat. The best invert? Well, it was Banshee until I rode Montu, but Banshee is still number 2. The best Giga? There's really no comparison to Fury, but I thought Orion was strong enough to be number 2. I also really love Firehawk before it was removed. It's my favorite defunct coaster of all time. This isn't even to mention the Beast, one of the most iconic coasters in the world. Going back 41 years to the early years of Kings Island, still to this day the world's longest wooden coaster, and still an experience out in the woods with an awesome chaotic helix finale. This is a nice collection of thrill coasters. You can even throw in Flight of Fear and Invertigo as solid adult coasters in the supporting cast. But every great park needs a good collection of intermediate and small coasters also. And now we're talking about Adventure Express, an Aero Mine Train, Racer, a classic racing wooden coaster that opened with the park, Backlot Stunt Coaster, a small, well-themed launch coaster, and then not 1, not 2, but 3 coasters for kids. Flying Ace Aerial Chase is a Vekoma hang and bang, and it's not a pleasant experience, but the kids might like it. Woodstock Express is a classic old wooden coaster, perfect to serve as a stepping stone coaster. And Great Pumpkin Coaster will likely be a lot of Southern Ohio kids' first coaster. This park lost 2 major coasters in Firehawk and Vortex in back-to-back years and still has an awesome lineup. 4 coasters solidly in my top 50 is not something that many other parks can say. Six Flags Great America is the only other one that even has 3. Well, except for Cedar Point with 6. That park is just stacked with good rides that not even Kings Island can compete with. So why did I decide to dump Cedar Point in favor of Kings Island? 2 words: park pride. Don't get me wrong, Cedar Point takes a lot of pride in their work also. So does most of the non-Six Flags parks in my top 10, like Silver Dollar City and the 2 Busch Gardens parks. But I've been to Cedar Point a couple times where the park is not firing on all cylinders. This has never been the case for me ever since I've been to Kings Island under Cedar Fair's ownership. The day that really opened my eyes to this was the Monday in July that I spent there back in 2018. Every ride had 2 or 3 train operations and fast dispatches. Every single coaster was open. Lines were short all day, even though it was decently crowded, and this was because of the ops. This trip made me put Kings Island in my number 2 spot. I came back to Cedar Point and Kings Island in 2020 with all the COVID restrictions and challenges that the parks are facing, and I thought both were doing the best they could. Cedar Point is bigger, so the shortfalls were a little more obvious, but I think they were just fine. Kings Island's one major closed ride was Racer. Not sure if that was a maintenance issue or due to staffing, but every other ride was firing on all cylinders. Orion's dispatches were some of the best I've ever seen. Always a train on the lift, always a train in the station, no wasted time. I also noticed that the employees were incredibly nice here. Everywhere I went, they made an effort to talk to people who were waiting in line. Some people may not like it and want to be left alone, but it's not something that I'm used to seeing at other parks. It wasn't just 1 or 2 employees on 1 or 2 occasions either. I saw at the Eiffel Tower, Mystic Timbers, Diamondback, Orion, the Beast. Those are the ones that come to mind. It's also amazing how many coaster enthusiasts seem to work here. These are the people who actually want to be there and care about the experience. It's not just some job to make money. I've worn my Son of Beast shirt here a couple times, and each time I got at least 10 comments from employees. A lot of their more popular rides have assigned seating, and that's every year, not just in 2020, but they're always accommodating with row requests. There's something going on with this park that has to start from the top and trickles all the way down into every facet of this park. The standard is set very high. A lot is expected from the employees, and the employees respond. Kings Island also cares about its history. Son of Beast was a disaster that Cedar Fair acquired from Paramount, and they were quick to recognize that it had no future, and they shut it down in the 3rd season that they were in charge. Instead of sweeping such a daunting and infamous ride under the rug, they built Banshee on its plot of land and put a Son of Beast tombstone in the queue line. Kings Island broke ground in 1981 by ordering the first ever suspended coaster and called it the Bat. It was a failure, but it was a learning experience for aerodynamics. And 12 years later, they installed a successful version of their suspended coaster in the park and called it Top Gun. In 2014, it was renamed to the Bat to pay homage to the original. Firehawk and Vortex were given proper send-offs when it was their time for removal, allowing fans to get their last rides. You can even find references to these defunct attractions in Orion Station. And speaking of Orion, the former X-Space section of the park was rethemed as Area 72, a reference to the park's opening year. There are probably a bunch of other nuggets that I either forgot about or I'm not aware of, but this alone speaks to the pride that management has in the park. Its flat ride collection isn't spectacular, but it's not bad either. It's no Canada's Wonderland, but when you take into account their 315-foot drop tower, their Frisbee Delirium, and their Windseeker, along with their awesome Eiffel Tower where you can stay up there as long as you want, there's plenty of stuff for thrill seekers and photographers if you want a break from the coasters. Cedar Fair usually has good food, but this is really evident at Kings Island. There are so many places that I love to get to, like the Fest House, in addition to the places I've been, like the Coney Barbecue and Skyline Chili, which is a great local option that you can use your dining pass on. They also have a ton of outdoor drink stations, along with some freestyle locations, and this makes getting drinks quick and easy. Coming from my home park of Magic Mountain, this is not something that I'm used to. The last major point here is their Planet Snoopy section. This is actually their most decorated area, winning the Golden Ticket Award for Best Kids Area 18 years in a row. I know most people watching don't really care about a kids area, but if you actually have small kids and you come to Kings Island, you have a ton of quality attractions here. I mentioned the 3 coasters geared towards kids, but that's just the beginning. For a park offering as many top-notch rides for thrill seekers, the fact that they put so much effort into their kids area is great, and it makes for a complete park. So what could this park use in the future? I think they could improve on their flat ride collection. Tomb Raider, later renamed The Crypt, would have been a big piece to their lineup, but it was removed in 2011. Something like a Scream and Swing or any of those Canada's Wonderland flats would work well here. In terms of coasters, the biggest slam dunk addition would be a multi-launch looper like Copperhead Strike. This would fit perfectly on that Vortex plot of land, and is a completely realistic option for Cedar Fair to add to a park like Kings Island. If they want to make a huge splash and inch closer towards Cedar Point's coaster lineup, they should look into a massive RMC iBox hybrid coaster with some kind of Son of Beast theme. They have so much land to use. After all, Banshee uses just a sliver of what Son of Beast took up, and a 200-foot iBox hybrid like Zadra would be an undisputed elite coaster for the park, and that would rival Steel Vengeance for the best coaster in the country. I would like to see both of these over the years, and I think it's possible because Cedar Fair loves this park and it performs very well for the chain. Let me know what you think about Kings Island, and if you think I'm crazy for liking it more than Cedar Point. I think if a park knocks your socks off each and every time you go, it deserves that top spot. It may fall short of Cedar Point in the coaster category, but more than makes up for it with the overall atmosphere and the park pride coming from upper management all the way down to the newest employee. They have a great thing going on there that I wish that other parks would replicate. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like. That's the best way to show your support for the channel. And if you're new here and haven't subscribed yet, please do so, and check out my playlist for all the different kinds of videos I do here. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.